All right, so we're in the studio here. We got Adrian Harjo. He's graced us with his presence. We were just talking about how this show is meant to highlight people, maybe young artists, new artists, other artists who haven't really had any of the infrastructure to help them with their career. We didn't have that. I've known Adrian since the 90s, and he really helped with True Res, some of the projects back then. And there was nothing like this to help us then. Like back in those days, it would have been great if we could have went on a local show or got onto YouTube or something.
God, did YouTube even exist back then, or?
No, not at all.
If it was just getting started at some point, right?
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
Google bought it.
But tell us about some of your earliest memories of coming here to the territory.
Wow, that goes back 15 years, and at some points, it's still even hard for myself to think about that. Wow, I've known like these people for 15 years, right? Like you go back 15 years, and yeah, I just basically, I came up here to the territory to take my girlfriend to her prom. I had no idea I was going to get into music or start singing or anything. And through some miscommunications, I get dropped off at a trailer on Chiefswood Park, or Chiefswood Road there,
yeah.
and it's a little bitty old trailer. And she's, my lady says, you got to stay here for a little bit. I walk in and there's all these burly, greasy looking, rezzed out Indian guys all, sitting around this little trailer and, passing around this little Jack and Coke, you know what I mean? And these little rocket pinners, God. And then there's John Garlow over there sitting in the kitchen on the computer with, I think he had no shirt on and he was just sitting there, hair out, glasses, and because it was hot in that,
yeah.
bro. It was hot. Yeah. He was in there cooking up beats even back then.
Yeah.
And I had no experience, but, I introduced myself, I'm cool like that. And, sat down, got drunk with you guys, went out to the club, made a beat that night, and rest is history, man. Filth and Fury, True Res, 80 on, all throughout the years. Yeah.
What did you think of True Res when you first seen them in action? Like pretty rough. Like you're used to the U.S., right, where rap is a culture.
And for me, like it's like with True Res, when I saw it, to me it was different because it was Indian guys. You know what I mean? Rapping and whatnot, you don't really see that, or a lot of people in the mainstream media don't really think that natives can relate like that either. I mean, they think, oh, they're Indians, they belong on the reservation, they're just going to sing and dance or something or do ceremonies. But to have a group of guys, you know what I mean, who are living that lifestyle, you know what I mean, like we were eating like bologna and bread, right, and hot dogs and eggs and whatnot, and to have that, and then to have you guys start rapping, and the big thing was the cursing and the content, right? Because people that were out at the time were all very positive and also too very, I want to say, heya. You couldn't be a native artist unless you had some rattles shaking or some dancers on stage dancing with you or
playing the part.
Yeah, some heya stuff, and people couldn't get us out of that cliche stereotype, right? Yeah. And so people weren't really too happy with what True Res was doing.
Yeah, and that's something I want to say is like when we first started, not only was there nothing like this to help us, as a matter of fact, people discouraged us. I can remember people telling us that rap is for black people and that we shouldn't be doing that. So you've encountered that too in probably your own musical career.
Oh yeah. Well, even me too. The same thing goes. Yeah, like even because like I never took to rap, right? I always sang, and that's what I did, and that's still what I do. But yeah, people didn't really take to it. Like at the awards, there's no category like any of the native awards ceremonies. There's no categories for native R&B. There's for blues, but there's nothing for R&B. So even for me, it was even harder to come out. There's nobody out there to set a precedent or to look at and say, oh, this is how he did it, or this is how they did it, or there was nothing like that.
No
especially
blueprint.
for us, yeah, especially for us urban artists, if you want to call us that. But bottom line is though, the lives we were living and everything we were experiencing, talking about on our records, that was all real stuff, back in the day, as opposed to a lot of the stuff today where it's all ghostwritten and just put out on the radio. Everything we did back then was all real talk, you know what I mean? And I don't doubt that sometime in 20 years from now, people are going to pull up some old True Res records, you know what I mean? And hopefully maybe start sampling us or something,
Well, I've seen Facebook, Rex Smallboy showed a picture of War Party in a classroom textbook to say, hey,
I think I've seen that.
there was native rappers in the '90s, and this is who they were, and this is what they did. So for you, you also sang traditional music. So I think that's you were able to lean on that. If anyone did have any kind of criticisms of you as a person or who you were a part of a successful group in the States called the Tribe, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We started at Haskell right around the late 90s with Wayne Silas Jr. and John Teller. We all met up at Haskell and we would sing around the gazebo, and eventually, it got a little serious. We won a few contests, and we ended up getting real serious that summer. I think it was '96. I think it was. We got real serious and traveled around, did our thing, and through the years ended up being championship drum group, and even won a Grammy, I think, in 2001. And so we took it as far as we possibly could with the Tribe. And so when I came to here, I had already had that experience of being on a record label, traveling around. Because, a drum group is basically just a band, you know what I mean? And you've got bands that are out there or drum groups that are rock stars, right? And the Tribe was definitely one of them.
Band of Indians.
Band of Indians out there doing their thing, acting, all crazy. And if people only knew the things that we do at powwows and the things that go on after the powwows, you know what I mean?
I didn't even know what a 49 was until I met you.
Oh yeah, and y'all be doing it anyways. Didn't even know.
Yeah. There you go.
But
so
yeah,
you're a Grammy award-winning artist.
Correct. NAMI too. I've got a few other credits here and there, but when I say Grammy-winning, people always think, who did you produce for or what song? And no, it was in 2001. The Grammys had the inaugural year of Best Native American Album, and I went down to Gathering of Nations with the Tribe. We sang on there. The album ended up winning the Grammy the next year, and we all got certificates and got presented stuff. And so, that was a Grammy. But either way, Grammy is a Grammy. A Grammy is a Grammy.
So you were obviously an accomplished singer when you arrived at Six Nations. Like, how did you get into R&B singing? Like, was there someone in your family who was a great singer and kind of helped you, or just your friends in Kansas City?
Truthfully, I'd have to give credit to my mom's, because she worked very hard. Single mom. Back in the day, she raised both of us, and she couldn't afford toys and things like that for me. So the one thing she did leave me with was her vinyl collection. And I had a record player, and I used to set up like a little microphone, or whatever, and I would play DJ, you know what I mean? And so I would play these records, and you're talking Michael Jackson, Otis Redding, Marvin Gaye, all of these classics of soul, Crystal Blue Persuasion, and all this classic stuff. And so I came up on all of that type of music. And because I didn't really have toys or anything to play with, so I played with records and played DJ, which is probably where I got this deep DJ voice right here, right?
I wish I played with more records.
Yeah, but that's, I think, where I got it from. And then when I was about 13, I got into traditional singing and then tried to balance the two. But it is difficult trying to be a traditional singer and then to try to shift your voice and be an R&B singer and sing all pretty. And when you sing powwow, it's all wah,
yeah,
intense. And then when you sing R&B, it's very smooth and pretty, So
yeah, powwow singing in its fundamental form is almost like heavy metal.
Yes,
or something.
That is an accurate analysis.
So one thing I want to ask is, what were some of the major setbacks you experienced as an artist? Like, a lot of people who are watching this video might be not familiar with Adion or Adrian Harjo, the R&B singer.
Yeah, he kind of fell off. He had a bad go, man. I mean, I created him, so that I wouldn't be all day, every day walking around, ooh, baby, can you get me something out of the fridge? So, I'm not an R&B singer all day. I'm this dude, right? Adrian Harjo. And Adion is simply a character I play. But when I tried to get him on and make an album and do his thing, there was a lot of setbacks. Like I said, there was no really categories for it at the awards. And then label-wise, labels were only interested or the native labels were only interested in releasing native music, powwow, flute, NAC, all the different, genres of native music. And they weren't really interested in my brand because to go and sell to a bunch of natives, they said when I sang, I sound like a black guy. That's exactly what I was told. Like, you sound like you're a black guy. I don't think Native Americans would buy your records because you don't sound like you're Native. And I wasn't shaking rattles and
Right.
singing "Heya Heya" in the background. So
Yeah, you weren't being the token
yeah,
native.
yeah, and not that that's, I don't have anything against that and people doing that, but it's just not me. That's not how I was brought up, and that's not how I wanted to portray a native artist who happens to, you know what I mean?
So if, let's say, Jermaine Dupri or Donnell Jones got a copy of maybe one of your rough mixes, and they're like, man, we got to put this guy on, and you had that shot, do you think you could have made it, like with Usher and with
Well, and
with
that
the other dudes?
and that was the big thing, because when I started, I only wanted to sell and market to my native peoples, because that's the stuff that I was talking about from being on the powwow trail for so many years and all the experiences and the wild, crazy stuff that we go through. But if I were to get something on with a big label like Jermaine Dupri, that would have been cool. But I think the scariest thing was I wasn't afraid. I wasn't necessarily afraid of not making it. I was afraid of making it and all of the things that come, because everybody knows money's intoxicating and that lifestyle's intoxicating. And I had started a family because things weren't working out.
And you had a sample of how it might have gone because of your Grammy award-winning group.
And I saw,
Okay.
I'll be honest, most men won't even say this part, you know what I mean? But being out on the road and you know what I mean? I love my wife very much. She's Mohawk from this territory here. And my biggest problem was that if I got out on the road and I started having success, which I knew was going to happen, I didn't trust myself on the road. I knew that, come on, I'm only a man, and there's, Indian girls are freaking beautiful. And I don't think I would have been able to control myself out there on the
Ray
road.
Charles?
Yeah, man,
he couldn't even see.
Yeah. They're just that fine. Oh, man. But yeah, that was my biggest worry, was that I would trade that lifestyle for the home life that I loved. I love my wife, I love my family, and I love what we have, you know what I mean? And that R&B thing it was nice and it was good to look at, but in the end, at that time I don't think it was for me. I don't think I would have trusted myself out on the road and to handle my responsibilities as a man.
So what are you up to now, man? What project are you working on? Like Right Meow.
Right now, right Nizow. Well, I've been talking to a few people, and like I said, as we were talking about earlier, I think at the end of this '80s thing, I think the '90s music scene is going to come, back with full force, and you even got a lot of these old school hip hop guys out on tour again, man. Everybody's bringing it back,
Yeah.
and so. I didn't really make it the last time around, so you know what I mean. I'd say like 20 years later, right? But I'm only going to be entering my 40s, and I want to bring back Adion. That's the big thing. Adion was, I think he was a symbol of the many different things that natives could be and whatnot, and I think he's on his way back. I would love to get more into him. Right now, I just produce music for different artists and companies. Film, television, movies, live theater,
Yeah, you're
that
an
sort of thing.
accomplished beat maker,
Yeah,
producer.
composer, all of that.
Yeah.
So that keeps the bills paid, that, and I love to powwow. I'm a powwow bum till I die. But Adion does need to come back, and now that my life is sort of, I'm in my 40s now. My kids are old enough to take care of themselves. My wife is good. House is paid off. Bills are paid off. You know what I mean? Everything's kind of going like this now, And now that it's a good foundation for me to say, you know what, I don't have too many more worries anymore. I've cleared a lot of mental space and I've gotten over a lot of stuff.
Matured.
So now, yeah, I've matured. So I'm a grown ass man now. So I've got a good foundation to stand on. So I would like to try Adion one more time. Just, because if I never really truly go for it, I'd be sitting there when I'm 60, man. I could have been the greatest. I could have been, ooh. I could have did all that, but
Got the cane.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because I look at Ronald Isley. What is he, like 100 years old? And he's
Yeah.
still out there doing his thing, La 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 la.
So you want to close us out with a song, maybe on the hand drum?
Sure. Yeah. I compose a lot of songs. Hand drumming is one of the things we do.
I remember when I first met Adrian, he would sing like what I would call powwow songs. I didn't know the difference. And I would like how he would throw in like contemporary lyrics. I never heard that before. He brought something new and he made it entertaining. So
You ready? Let's see.
I'll
Let's
carry
see
it
what kind of song do we want to sing? I've got tons of them.
I like some of your round dance ones.
Round dance. Love song.
Yeah.
Okay. See if I can get into one.
Or whatever you think.
Whatever I think. Let's sing a good one. Here we go. Hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, be my girl, be my girl. Hey, oh, hey, is your ring. Don't say no again. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Thought you were going to lean in for a kiss there.